Hello Servos, TF32 is here for the Spanish Grand Prix here on Ride 5, taking place at Imola because we do not have the Jerez de la Frontera circuit. As we last left off, Toru Ukawa got the first victory for the team, and for him personally for the season. That has brought him up to 5th in the standings overall, and we're in 6th. We're only 14 points behind Alex Barros, the championship leader, but it's a quintet of Hondas right ahead of us, with Shinji Nakano, our teammate, in dead last. So we've been putting up solid points on the board, and we're only in 7th. Almost every team ahead of us is a Honda team, and of course a Yamaha team. So my target is really to get ahead of the Suzukis and the Yamaha of Max Biaggi as we go into qualifying, going into the setup. Same thing as usual, turning the gears up, and my speech in the last couple of episodes has been a little bit off. My gearing is a little bit high, but it's not all the way high. And I'm turning power midway down because this is another tough circuit. The AI can have some hiccups around here, but overall, they can be pretty tough. You really need to get them on the brakes. Like a lot of circuits in this game, that is where you're going to be making up a lot of the time. Sete Gibernau setting the benchmark, having the fastest time for the moment, and being on top. Nakano, can he stay up? Because his results overall have been abysmal. 1 top 10 so far. We need better from him. Tony Elias up into 3rd and now on provisional pole. Christopher Mullen dragging that Suzuki up to places where it shouldn't be. He and John Hopkins had one flash in the pan at the season opening round at Suzuka. Let's see if that remains just a flash in the pan. Makoto Tamada up there. Tony Elias back on pole. Melandries. Gibernau. It's again a quintet of Hondas. Carlos Checa breaking that streak temporarily. Troy Bayliss bringing that Ducati up into 4th. Loris Capirossi, who was runner-up in the last race, nowhere to be seen, at least in the top 11. Nakano dragged down to 11th. Nicky Hayden, the 06 world champion, up into pole position. Colin Edwards in the top 10. He's had an abysmal season so far. Max Biaggi, horrible race for him last time out. He's in 4th. If Nakano continues with these bad results, I am considering giving him an upgrade, which you may or may not see in the following round. This will all come down to whether he performs or does not perform in this round. Valentino Rossi, he only has 1 win this season. Can he sneak another one in before the 3rd mark of the season? Sete Gibernau falls down, Vermeulen falls down, Nakano is not to be seen in the top 11. We're starting from the back, so really have everything to make up as we get into the last 30 seconds of this session. So right now, front row looks like Nicky Hayden, Tamada, and Elias. Haven't really seen a ton from Elias or Checa so far this season. Checa, he got 4th at Road Atlanta, the South African Grand Prix. We're here at the Spanish Grand Prix, and the only thing that I don't like about Imola is the rumble strips. If you even touch it slightly, you'll be on the ground. But this is the top 11 for the race. I will see you guys on Sunday for the full Grand Prix.
Are you ready, Boots?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TF32 commentary box here live virtually from Jerez, Spain, and physically in Imola, just a few miles away from the Rimini coast in Italy. Row 1, we have 2006 world champion Nicky Hayden alongside Makoto Tamada and Tony Elias. Row 2, Biaggi, Bayliss, and Valentino Rossi. Row 3, Marco Melandri, Carlos Checa, and Sete Gibernau. Row 4, Colin Edwards, Christopher Mullen, Shinji Nakano. We need a big result from him today. Row 5, Casey Stoner, Kenny Roberts Jr., and Loris Capirossi. Row 6, championship leader Barros, Toru Ukawa, Danny Pedrosa. Very disappointing for Barros. And rounding out the grid, John Hopkins, and yours truly, per usual, starting from the rear. Track conditions, trivial for racing, beautiful out. We're starting on all mediums. Actually, no, we have a hard front. My apologies, this was recorded a while back. It's an 11-lap race. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, this is going to be a tiny bit of a crash fest. Nicky Hayden starting out, leading us all into the front. The lights are red. They are out, and away we go. Great start from Nicky Hayden. Very nice launch. But there's also a really good start from Makoto Tamada. He is challenging for that lead just a little bit. But going into the first chicane, Nicky Hayden holds it tidy. And now you're seeing exactly what I've been fearing the entire time as Makoto Tamada gets into the lead. Hayden, I guess, had a little bit of an unsettlement. But Makoto Tamada now, going into the second chicane, leads here at Imola. Now, getting back to what I was saying about what I was fearing as we look at Max Biaggi. As you see right here, the camera is very zoomed in, and that was one of my biggest fears of what would happen in the broadcast to all of the races before actually doing this. We pan over to me. I'm actually up in the P7 already, looking for an aggressive overtake on Marco Melandri. And we're going into the halfway point, side by side with Marco Melandri. Who is going to have it? I end up running a little bit hot. Marco Melandri capitalizes on it. So does Bayless a little bit. He's running alongside me. We go 3 wide with Gibbernow as well. And this is one of the AI's stronger tracks. You hop on board with me going into the penultimate chicane of the track. We gain a little bit out of Bayless and Gibbernow and get a little bit closer to Marco Melandri. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Going into all of these turns, the broadcast camera is extremely zoomed in. I was unsure going into this entire project if the camera angles were going to be like this for all of the races in this schedule, as we're side by side with Troy Bayless and we do a double overtake into the final chicane right behind Valentino Rossi, and we're able to outbrake them tremendously. Makoto Tamada has the lead ahead of Nicky Hayden. That's at least all we've seen so far as we hop aboard with Marco Melandri. I'm trying to look at Rossi, study the doctor best I can. Am I able to go into the chicane ahead of him? No, I need to stay behind him just a little bit longer. And soon enough, you will see what I'm talking about with this being a crash fest. You're now on board with me, right behind the Doctor, the 5-time world champion in this alternate MotoGP universe. Still looking, but we're just not close enough at all. But it's no worries, we still have 9.5 laps left, and this is an area where it's very easy to get the braking point wrong, get the bike unsettled, bike may land on the ground. But here, we are going side by side with the Doctor ever so slightly, but we've learned while doing this that this is a pretty bad place to overtake. Well, I mean, I've learned it. You guys haven't seen it yet, but you'll see it soon enough. Rossi pulling a wheelie, God knows why, but we overtake him into that chicane. We have a crash right here. Is that Casey Stoner? I think Stoner is out of this race. It actually is not Stoner, it's Biaggi. Biaggi is out of this race, and Colin Edwards, you didn't see it here, but he is out of the race as well. Or at the very least down. We'll see if he's able to get back up. And we hop aboard Valentino Rossi in 6th position at this point. And as you know already with my rules, depending on how severe the crash is, I will disregard their result on this final standing screen. They will be classified as out of the race. Valentino Rossi now, we focus on him. He's closing in on me, and he just isn't able to outbrake me. This is definitely a place where they have me on the speed. You have to do all the work on the entry of the turn. Quarter entry, thank you very much. That is the term I was looking for. But yeah, I'm not sure how much more there's going to be to save this race, but I'm watching this from 4.5 months ago, so we'll see. Rossi right behind me, he's bumping me. He makes contact with me, he's already looking on the inside, and very tough for me to make up any more ground. As Rossi, we get a really good view of the rear of his bike, and we're going on the inside now again of the Doctor. Marco Melandri back into it. And we look at Biaggi. We're going to disregard him. He is out of this race. Now we look at Capirossi. He is trying to bring the Ducati up into places it should have been, but for whatever reason hasn't been all season long. We look at Toru Ukawa, Kenny Roberts. We're looking at the back. We're actually looking at podium positions right now. We have a bird's eye view, at least a look behind, of Valentino Rossi. Hayden, very disappointing start of the race so far, going 3 abreast into this last straight, I guess. Now he goes for an unorthodox overtake on me. Where the hell did he come from? But I was going to say, he started on pole. Tamada has just gone into the distance. We haven't seen anything. We have a group of 6. This is all a battle for 3rd position right now, as we speak. Tony Elias, Makoto Tamada, you basically need a telescope to see where they are. We are in 3rd, Hayden 4th, then Bayliss, Rossi, Melandri, Stoner looking on the outside, and Barros lurking right behind them. You never know what he can do. Championship leader. Multiple years, been in the Premier class since 1993. And now we get a helmet cam of me going down the short straight. And we see Tony Elias right behind. So, I mean, not entirely a telescope for him. But where the hell is Tamada? He is gone. And we want to try and hold our own and try to solidify this podium. And this would be our first podium of the season. Nakano down in 18th. Why is he down this low? We might need to give him that upgrade next round after all. This is not what we need for the team. He has been doing lackluster results thus far. And this is where the AI can do some damage. Fortunately, not quite close enough to do anything on me. But Hayden's still there. And in fact, he is going to do damage coming out of the turn right there. And he overtakes us. And now we are relegated to P4. We do a little bit of a bump right there. And we have a little bit of a battle, me and the Kentucky Kid. Going into this very sharp turn, going into the Imola city. This track is right next to the city, by the way. Going out onto the green. These curbs are like devil's lettuce. It's just really bad. Devil's lettuce, is that the right term? No, it's just not good. You never want to touch it. I mean, if you need to touch it, by all means, but enter at your own risk. Generally, you never want to touch these. Bayliss briefly was looking. We were able to gain away from him. We were able to briefly overtake Nicky Hayden, although he's probably going to get us right here. Elias, probably about 3 seconds ahead of us right now. And I really wish these camera angles were zoomed out a lot more so we could see. Rossi pulling another wheelie. What is he doing? Just ignore Biaggi. Barros trying to go for an aggressive overtake on the outside. Still on the outside. And is he able to do it? No. He is not able to do it. Never mind. He's been on the inside this entire time. My god, this race is a lot more entertaining than I thought it would be. Rossi, again, only has 1 win all season. I mentioned that at the start of the video. They're still side by side. It hasn't changed at all. Hasn't changed at all. And finally it ends. Capirossi gets into it. And Rossi finally able to get the better of him. Still holding on to 3rd. Going into the 3rd of, I believe, 4 chicanes in this track. Now looking at Tony Elias briefly. And now the gap, I'm not sure what it is. Probably about 2 seconds. And there's somebody down once more. Who is it? Might not find out until later on in the video. But, I mean, it's usually a low speed crash so they can easily get back up. And another rule I have is if they crash multiple times, then they will be out. Now on board with Troy Bayliss, right behind Nicky Hayden. They were 5th place rivals in 2003, and they both have experience on superbikes of some point in this alternate universe. And now we're actually a lot closer to Tony Elias, and we can put that pressure on ever so slightly. And we've gained a little bit away from Hayden. And he gets a little bit loose, gets unsettled. So do I. I have a massive wiggle. Massive wiggle. And somehow we managed to keep it tidy. And fortunately, because of that wiggle, we've been able to invite Nicky Hayden and Troy Bayliss back into the fray. And Marco Melandri sublet. He's still in this. Carlos Checa going for an overtake on Barros, with Caparossi still nearby. It's sort of a group of three. I mean, it's a massive line of bikes either way you look at it, but some are closer together than others, and this is an example. This trio of Checa, Barros, Caparossi. Although Danny Pedrosa is starting to get into this, he might have a look. And Checa, for whatever reason, some of the AI like to pull wheelies here. It's been happening a lot with Valentino Rossi in particular. We have another person down. It's Troy Bayliss. He has a crash. Seems like a relatively low impact, though. It's the exact same place. Ride 5, I think it's a shame that they decided to go for Ride 6 instead of trying to change the issues that, of course, have been present on this game with the AI crashing in multiple corners. Milestone needs to get their shit together for the upcoming game. And we do a massive dive bomb on Nicky Hayden going into the final chicane. And are we able to make a stick? We do. And we go for a double overtake. Hayden is one. Elias is another. But we have that high-speed deficit. So Tony Elias goes back on us. So we have to get him onto the brakes into the first chicane here. And we are able to keep P2. Meanwhile, Tamada is just nowhere to be seen. He is gone. Another piece of breaking news in the MotoGP world. After further contemplation, MotoGP will not be going to 800cc engines. They are going to stick with the 990 engines as they are because the riders love them, they provide great racing, and everybody's happy. Now we are aboard Marco Melandri. He is in 5th position. So right now, it's a group of 5 and 6 with Marco Melandri and Sete Gibernau. I am honestly pleasantly surprised. This is actually making for a lot more of an entertaining race than I thought. But, I mean, the only issue is this zoomed-in camera. I absolutely hate it. We are on track for not just our first podium, but our first second place of the season, as we hold off Elias and Hayden. Very popular crash spot for the riders here, but everybody seems to get through cleanly here. So we have this line with myself, Elias, Hayden, Melandri, and Gibernau going into the apartment section, basically the city section, if you will. Even more news to speak of, but just in a second. Tony Elias pulls a little bit of a wheelie, which allows Nicky Hayden to get through for 3rd position. But Tony Elias does a massive break to try and get in front of Hayden or get alongside him. Doesn't work, unfortunately. Yamaha doesn't quite have the power that the Honda has. I mean, it's able to hang with it decently, but the Honda is far and away the best bike on this grid. So, this last lap or so, it's been a little quiet, but, I mean, there's still room for an incident to happen. We hop aboard, loads of people. Hayden, myself, and not a lot going on in the race currently, so some more huge bombshell sponsorship. We've spoken about Emerson Electronics for the Honda Ponds team. We've spoken about Sunbelt Rentals for our team at Kawasaki. Another big signing that has just taken place for next season is Castrol, and it'll be interesting to see what the brand will look like for that team. Mikano down in 19th. And yeah, Tamada is just so far away. He is gone. We have a little bit of a wiggle. That invites Hayden to just fly right by us. But again, we're stronger on the brakes into the entry of the corners. Unfortunately, we get it wrong that time, and Hayden is able to break away from us and get by. And also, another thing I want to add is this turn right here. It's kind of a consistent for all bikes. If you don't brake before that bridge, you will not make the turn and you're going to hit the gravel, and more than likely fall. And won't be a race over, but it will set you back quite a bit. And we're doing a massive dive bomb on Nicky Hayden. We take that position. Whether it's fair or not, we do take the position. And we're back up in the P2. Massive battle for position. And Elias is losing touch with us, ever so slightly. Meanwhile, we fast forward a little bit and jump back a little bit to what's going on behind us. Barros, Checa, Pedrosa, they're in a battle. So we have this group towards the front. Well, first we have Tamada, then we have this group of 5 bikes that are competing for second. Then we have a much bigger group of bikes right behind us that are battling for much lower, like single-digit positions. Melandri up into 3rd place. He's trying to look to take 2nd place. He does not succeed, unfortunately. And guess who he has breathing down his spine? His own teammate, Gibbernow. Hayden, still very much in it. He does the same aggressive overtake that we've seen a couple other riders go for. He is not successful, though. Hayden, still very much there. Melandri trying to gain on us. Gain. He's on that fastest bike, but he's not able to outbrake us. We are just so strong, being able to outbrake nearly all of these bikes. There are really strong tracks. In fact, there's another really strong one that I am quite worried about, and hopefully we as a team can score big on those. Gibbernow and Hayden having a bit of a scrap for 4th position. Just ahead of us, you see Melandri trying to go for an overtake. He gets unsettled. He's down. He takes Gibbernow out. It's a double DNF for movie star Honda Grassini. They are out of this race. And now there's another scrap going on right behind us. Multiple riders involved. We may nullify those results just so it's fair for the other riders later. But we are going to take a rewind and watch this again. Marco Melandri goes for such an unorthodox overtake. He gets his bike unsettled. Gibbernow crashes into him as a result because he's slowing down. Bayless also crashes in. And as a result, it's just a huge chain reaction. It's such a freak accident. Now, I am going to be disregarding a lot of what you see here, and it'll affect the results later on when the race is over. So jumping back to real time here, we are in a battle for 2nd with only Nicky Hayden now. He is the only person that's directly behind us as a result of that. There is one other person that's behind us, but he's more or less a ghost rider because he crashed earlier on in the race. It's Max Biaggi. So, in the future when I do these races, I'm going to try and edit these in a way that's believable, while still giving you guys the impression that they are, on paper, retired from the race, and try and ensure that they do not provide a bigger effect, as we see Nicky Hayden providing an effect of his own, going for an overtake attempt on us in one of the worst places on the track, because if you get it wrong, you're hitting the gravel and you're going down. But this battle's going to continue. I'm on a slow bike, he's on the quickest bike on the grid. And is he going to overtake us into this final chicane? No. Per usual, I get him on the brakes. Caparossi is the next bike behind us, excluding him. And Alex Barros, he's been able to be paid dividends and benefit greatly from this. He is up into 5th position. This is great for the championship because he could get an enormous advantage on those behind him. So Barros, realistically, is the one that is able to thank his lucky stars that everyone crashed and he was able to gain ahead of everybody. So this is the final lap of the race, I believe. He's been able to dominate everything since the 3rd turn of the race. I'm in 2nd, then Hayden, Caparossi, and Barros is just silently able to benefit from everything here. Nicky Hayden, now, he doesn't want to give up 2nd place. This is going to be a battle to the death between myself and the Kentucky Kid. I end up going on the outside, going to the inside. This is theater right here. I wasn't expecting this race to be as entertaining as it was, and that the camera angle was going to be a huge handicap, but it's actually worked out quite well. Again, we're ignoring Biaggi here. He is not a factor in this race at all. And we don't know exactly how many DNFs there are going to be as we look at another DNF, I believe, or at least a crash right behind us. Anyhow, we're able to make a slightly comfortable gap ahead of Nicky Hayden and keep this 2nd place. But that is not the story of today. This is the story of today. This Japanese man right here, coming into the final chicane, led from the 3rd turn of the race all the way to the final lap, and now finally to the finish line. He's bringing LCR Honda back up to the top. He's winning this race. And after a long, hard-fought battle against the Kentucky Kid, we are able to take second place and Kawasaki's first podium of this first Ride 5 990cc championship. Nicky Hayden will ultimately complete the podium, and there was actually a tie right at the end of the race between Alex Barros and Loris Capirossi. I decided to make a very narrow gap, and also Barros did score the fastest lap of the race, so he's awarded 4th, Capirossi 5th, then Stoner did get up to recover to 6th, Checa, Rossi, Hopkins, Ukawa, Vermeulen, Nakano. Even after all those crashes, he still only finishes 12th. And Troy Bayliss in 13th, he was able to recover after the crash. And Kenny Roberts Jr. is the final finisher in 14th. DNFs, we have loads of them, and lots of big names as well. Melandri, Pedrosa, they were race winners. Biaggi, Gibernau, Tony Elias, he was in 2nd earlier in the race. And Colin Edwards, the season really gets worse for him, doesn't it? So with that, we will head over to the post-race standings, the rider standings first. Barros does lead the championship, but Hayden is now in 2nd. Tamada is ultimately the biggest gainer of this. This is his 2nd win of the season, the only multiple winner so far. We get our first podium though, so we're up there in 4th, only 7 points behind Barros. Nakano, dead last in the standings, only 10 points to his name. But because of my podium, we are 5th in the standings now. As an overall team, since the LCR Honda upgrades, Tamada has been able to elevate the team up to 3rd. All 4 Hondas lead the team standings. And that is the race. So time to address the elephant in the room here. I am so sorry for this video taking 5 months to upload. Since starting to work for the post office, peak season got in the way, and I was unable to spend that much time working on videos aside from update videos. That said, I made an informed decision to stop all production on everything on my channel up until the end of peak season because it was crazy. We delivered a lot of Christmas presents all over the area. But we're back on track. I have a lot more free time now, and I should be on the way to making regular, and I'll have even more time when that comes. So the next round is at Le Mans, the French Grand Prix, which will actually be at the track, and I will see you guys then. Take care.